Well, to this now, the Justice Department is hosting a national conference on the Constitution today in Midrand. It will reflect on the state of democracy, the effectiveness of constitutional bodies and transforming the judiciary. Now, our senior reporter Silindelo Masikane is there and joins us now to give us the very latest. And good morning to you, Slee. What is to be expected from the conference?
Well, essentially, we're going to expect some robust debates and dialogue around how far the Constitution has come. We know that South Africa's Constitution is touted as being one of the best in the world, one of the most progressive in the world, but has it actually done what it was supposed to do? That is the question that's going to be answered today, as well as over the next couple of days. We know that the program is expected to start at around 9 a.m. this morning, and we've got various guests from the legal fraternity, from government officials, from Chapter 9 institutions, business, young people, as well as civil society that will be gathering here in Midrand at the Gallagher Estate Conference Centre. But to give us more, I am joined by the DG of the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development, Mr. Doc Mashabane. Thank you so much for your time. Perhaps maybe your expectations. This is the first conference since we had the Constitution promulgated back in 1996. Perhaps what kind of engagement are we expecting here today?
Looking at the program, obviously, then the President will provide a keynote address this morning just after 9. I think he will provide a broad overview of his own observation of how the past 25 years has been in terms of the implementation of the Constitution. But beyond that, you have the members of the judiciary here, you have academics, you also have legal practitioners, you have civil society, religious groups. Almost all walks of life will be here to look at the Constitution. And if you look at the breakdown of the topics that will be dealt with here, we're looking at socio-economic issues, we're looking at accountability issues, we'll be looking at corruption, we'll be looking at national security and how it is important in the advancement of constitutional democracy. So indeed, it's an opportunity over the next 3 days really for South Africans to have a reflection and have a discussion about whether the Constitution is achieving what it was meant to achieve. And part of the reason why we're here, last year the Constitution turned 25 years, and that's a quarter of a century. That's a significant milestone in the life of a nation. So our view is that this should be an opportunity for South Africans to talk about all the challenges. The Constitution is sacrosanct. However, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have weaknesses, but those are the things that South Africans must discuss and say, going forward into the 50 years of the Constitution, what should the journey looks like in the next 25 years? What are the things that could be done to strengthen the Constitution as that broad framework that allows for a developmental agenda in order to improve the lives of South Africans?
And of course, a lot of people look at these kinds of conferences and say, no, but it's just a talk shop. I mean, what then? What are the actual implementation plans that we can expect to see after this conference? Will there be resolutions? Will there be timelines put in place?
Look, we will link the discussion here towards the end, towards the 30th anniversary of our constitutional democracy. But right at the end, what we want is to have concrete proposals and say, between now and next year when our democracy turns 30, what is it that must be implemented or that must be considered? Whether it's an amendment or strengthening of the Constitution, those proposals must be made here. They must come from the South Africans here. Others will be joining online. They can raise their hands online and make proposals, or they can write proposals that should be considered. But this will be the beginning of a dialogue. So what we'll do after the 3 days of the conference, we'll arrange series of discussions on the various topics. As you can imagine, we will require more than a week or even 2 weeks to delve deep into details of the Constitution. So whatever that will have been identified will be threshed out as we proceed to the 30th anniversary, with a view to really look at real concrete proposals if there's a need for further proposals to strengthen the Constitution. Over the past 25 years, the Constitution has been amended 17 times. There's an 18th amendment that is coming to include sign language. So proposals can be made because the Constitution is not cast on stone, and it was not meant to be that way. It was meant to be a living document that South Africans must interact with, and it must take into account the realities of the experiences of South Africans. But this conference gives us an opportunity and say, what has been the lived experience of the past 25 years? When it was adopted, came into operation, It wasn't ideal. We have not gone through, the experience and have it tested. I think it has been tested now. It has been resilient. However, it can still be strengthened. A lot can still be done to make it, more robust and, more responsive to the needs of the people on the ground.
Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
All right, I'm going to release the DG. Of course, we are expecting the program to start at around 9 a.m. this morning. We're going to have a keynote address by President Cyril Ramaphosa, who will be opening the conference. 3 days of robust dialogue, debate around how effective our constitution has been. And of course, we will be bringing those visuals live to our viewers on DSTV 403.